you really care so much about that other person, that special person, or are you just weak? Just letting you know up front, this is a huge topic. I was watching Robert Zink, and he was talking about how it's so disadvantageous to care too much what other people think, and especially if it's somebody close to you. And he gave this technique for shrinking them in your mind until they're the size of a pea, and then clapping your hands and not needing to worry about it, not needing to think about whether you're pleasing them or not. Then I started thinking about predators and prey and bullies and their victims. It's really interesting to go that far into it and realize that sometimes the reason you are addressing it is because you're too weak to stand up on your own 2 feet, and you just want the system to be fair so that you don't have to be strong enough to deal with it as it is. And in a way, you're saying that the only answer that you'll accept is to live in a codependent universe. Here's the secret, darling. Things don't get better. They don't. You do. Darling, you get better all the time. The world is always going to throw its left turns and spinning and chaos at you. It's always going to try to tear things from your grasp, block your great plans, make you stumble. But you are there to overcome all that, to grow and change and blossom, to get stronger and wiser and more sure of yourself, to learn what you want and don't, and what you'll accept and won't. That's the real journey, sweet soul of life. The conscious decision that if you can't fight the wind, you're going to use it to control the sails. In this same video, Robert Zink was talking about his grandmother. He remembered her when he was a child, and there was a gathering, a family gathering, and everyone just decided that Grandma was going to take care of Robert, and they were all going to go do something fun that had alcohol. Apparently children weren't allowed, and so all the adult family members just left Grandma alone with Robert, and she was the kind of person who always pleased everyone else, and she cried her eyes out. Robert still remembers this because they all abandoned her. They left her and went to have fun without her. And I felt like that recently. I felt abandoned a few times. And Robert's point was that when people are going to treat you like that, you're not going to win any points by being nice, by sacrificing your own enjoyment. The way the world works is, the way the universe works, is that if you allow it, people will flip their shit on you and exploit you. And the answer isn't making everyone else play fair. The answer is sticking up for yourself. And I get tearful. I'm too much like my mom. I keep thinking, but I don't want to stand up for myself. I just want everyone else to play fair. There's a sticking point with me. There's a sticking point, like when the clutch starts to engage and the truck starts to move forward, or where the rubber meets the road. It's another driving analogy. And when I get to that sticking point, I have to fish or cut bait. I have to shit or get off the pot. That sticking point, I have to come through there or fail. And it doesn't work to try to fix everyone else, to have a messiah complex.
In 1 mile, exit right.
hold me hostage, or extort me, or blackmail me. I can decide for myself how much joy I will have if I just stick up for myself. The toughest part is the emotional context. For all of my life, I've been terrified of being rejected. And that's probably why I've appeased bullies in the past, is because I've been so afraid of rejection. And humans in the past millions of years are rightfully afraid of rejection, because if you're rejected or shunned, you don't have any way to eat, because humans have to work together in communities, usually, to function, to survive. So I've been afraid of rejection to the point where bullies have gotten the better of me, have taken advantage of me, have kept me in a smaller place than I deserve to be. And so standing up, just thinking about standing up for myself, brings on a fear response that I have to deal with, that I have to shift into neutral and deal with, and eventually laugh at. When I see, when the scales drop away from my eyes and I see how immense I am, how unusual. Just to be fair, just to be honest, I'm not an average person. I'm not an average sized person in terms of personality, in terms of just whatever makes humans human. Just looking at myself fairly, I don't deserve to be in a small place, but I've allowed myself to be in a small place. And when people are just testing me, good faith people are just testing me, in good humor sometimes, I don't always react well, because I feel like if they're testing me, it must mean I don't measure up somehow. Or why would they bother testing me? But you won't ever get through life without being tested. No matter how impervious you are to people flipping shit at you, you'll still be tested. So if somebody thinks you're impervious, but they still have to test you because they have to, and you don't pass the test, they're like, oh, aha, this person isn't as tough as I thought he was. Oh, I hate that. I hate being revealed and having anyone see that I'm not as tough as they thought I was. It makes me want to just go hide, or it makes me want to have a messiah complex and fix the whole system so I never have to deal with it again. I've thought to myself, all predators should be quarantined until they learn how not to be predators. And victims also probably should be quarantined, because otherwise the recovering predators, like Bruce the shark in Finding Nemo, they'll fall off the wagon if they smell blood in the water. And that's codependency. It just is. I was thinking of Zootopia, how all the predators and prey are supposed to learn to live together in good faith. And I wonder, maybe that is a possibility. Instead of quarantining everybody, live and let live. That seems to be the conclusion of Zootopia. Live and let live. Yeah, you're a predator. Yeah, I'm prey. But can't we all just be happy together? It just goes against my grain to think that way. I just want to fix everything. But let's pull Ayn Rand into the picture for a minute. If we say, okay, live and let live. Let everyone be as big or small as fierce or tame as they actually are. Just allow everyone to be who they are, whether convenient or not. And I think her solution would be that everyone should just learn to be as strong as they need to be. Not exploitative, just strong, like Shrek in the forest. Shrek is a fierce ogre, but he's not a predator. The big bad wolf, who is a predator, would be afraid of Shrek if Shrek were to go aggressive on him. So you can be as strong and fierce as Shrek is without needing to take advantage of people. And I think that's a good answer. And if you are weaker, just, I don't know, one of the smaller creatures of the forest, it's difficult to avoid codependency unless you're hanging out with Shrek all the time. And even that is codependency because you need a protector. Ayn Rand would probably say, let it sort itself out. Let the prey be eaten. It's okay, it's no skin off my nose. I'm strong enough not to be eaten, so why should I be limited by a system that protects people who are weak? Again, that's a big stretch for me. I don't know if I can get there, but that would be an answer. And when people challenge me or test me, instead of fixing them, I just need to figure out what to do. I need to either shun them or block them on social media, not to worry about it, not to get emotional about it, but just do what's necessary, not let them spoil my fun or rob me of my happiness or extort or blackmail me, just to figure out how to be happy in my own sphere. When I get tested, especially by people I care about, I don't have to put up with it. I can bide my time if it's an indefensible position. If I can't look in the mirror at myself and say, yeah, it's not that bad. If I have to look at myself and say, no, it is that bad, I can then say, well, okay, I'll bide my time until I can figure out how to escape intact. Or I can say, no, it's just that horrible, I need to leave now. Or I can say something in between, but then I'd compromise my integrity. I'd compromise my position of taking a strong position no matter what. That is the part that brings tears to my eyes, when I have to face myself, stand up for myself, and be strong enough, courageous enough, not to fix everyone else, but to fix myself, to become adequate in the moment for whatever that moment brings. In the final analysis, in a universe that isn't codependent, that probably is the only solution. But it isn't one that we all want to hear, because it's very difficult. Some people, I think about my mother, some people it just seems as though it would be hopeless, that they'll never ever be strong enough to just stand up to bullies. They'll say, oh, it's so hard, oh, it's a process, oh, I'll get there eventually, instead of doing what it actually takes not to be bullied. I don't know if there are any hopeless cases, but again, if I'm not suffering from a messiah complex, I won't care. I won't bother myself with it. I'll just make sure I can do what I need to do for myself, and I can help people if it's not in a codependent way, but there's no obligation to. To be a good person, I don't need to be a bleeding heart or a messiah. That's tough. That's really tough. I don't need to fix my mom. I don't need to fix my dad to keep him from being a bully or a narcissist. I don't have to fix anybody. I don't even have to fix myself. I could just keep going along in misery and in dread, anxiously awaiting the next time somebody bullies me. I can do that. It's my free choice if I choose that. Personally, I'm choosing not to be my mother or my father. I'm choosing to be strong, more like Shrek. And I want to set an example for anyone who looks up to me, who wants to do it similarly. But I don't have any obligation or duty to set an example. I don't have any need to live for the sake of others. Even though humans are very codependent by nature, I'm not obligated to follow and do it that way. I want to find my way to a place where emotionally I feel stable and strong and not overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed a lot in my current situation, and I want to get to a place where I can handle any crisis with ease. And I don't think it's a process necessarily. I think I can just do it. I think I can just choose it. It's like the diving board when you're a kid and you're in swimming lessons and you're afraid to jump and you stand there agonizing and you can't make yourself do it. But it's not a process. You don't have to go through therapy. You don't have to figure anything out. You just have to make yourself do it. And I think that's where I am. I think I'm just going to do it and stop trying to fix everyone else. I'm just going to do what makes me happy. And that will leave me in a good position to help others if I choose to, because I'll be much stronger if I just leap off that board and just let things happen as they will. As I ponder this further, I keep asking myself, do I really care so much about helping other people, about fixing the system so everyone can thrive? Or am I really just being selfish? Just wanting not to have to work so hard myself because the system is broken. And if I could just fix the system, then I wouldn't have to do the work on myself necessary. I wouldn't have to buckle down and knuckle down and be super strong if I lived in an easy system. Some people say that you shouldn't fix the system. Ayn Rand, for one. It's the way it should be, so that we'll all become strong enough, or we won't make it. Selection of the fittest. I wonder if there are two kinds of people in life. The ones who believe that, selection of the fittest, and the bleeding hearts. I wonder if there's any cure for either, because I've felt critical of both. Doesn't seem to be any alternative to those two choices. What do you think?